Liam Gillick, a British contemporary artist, once stated that contemporary art does not account for that which is taking place. While at surface level it may be easy to disagree with Mr. Gillick, when you look deeper into the statement, you start to realise that maybe he's onto something. But what is contemporary art? And what is taking place? We'll allow Jess, Sarah and myself to delve deeper into the crazy world of contemporary art, and maybe, just maybe, we can conjure up an answer to the statement. Our world is becoming increasingly smaller. Through technological advancements, we've had the ability to connect to anywhere else in the world. Ultimately, this has had an effect on art created in the last 30 years or so. In artistic terms, contemporary art refers to any artwork made between 1989 and right now. Many events since then have led to the world we know today in 2013. In 1989, the Cold War ended. We had The Breakfast Club, cassettes, and David Bowie. Before we knew it, it was the 1990s. The Gulf War had begun, the exhibition of the magicians, the internet, we cloned a sheep. We partied like it's 1999, watched in horror on 9/11, got iPods, iPhones and iPads and went to war again in the last decade. Technology evolved and thus so did art. Contemporary art is often associated with new media, video installations, light shows, films, computer imaging, artworks that now have the possibility of existing thanks to technology. And yet, Mr. Gillick thinks that art made during this period doesn't account for what is happening. But how can that be?
Well, take for example Peter Robinson's work called Sartre's Worm. The Kiwi created an artwork purely from binary code, and as a result, a nonsensical passage helps us greatly here. I mean, the internet, computers, technology are ever evolving, they're ever changing. It's happening and there's no stopping it anytime soon. As we speak, websites are being developed, new mobile devices are being invented, and it's all thanks to the binary code. For Liam Gillick to then say that contemporary art does not take into account what is happening is to dismiss Robinson's work. It exists now, it will continue to exist and evolve, and art will be made about the internet for years to come. So take that, smarty pants, Liam Gillick.
Hang on a second, you don't know what you're talking about. First of all, there's no need for Liam Gillick actually had a point. The period of contemporary art actually spans almost 30 years. It's not 1989 anymore. It is 2013 and a lot has happened since then. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is such a thing as outdated contemporary art. Some contemporary art even addresses events outside of our earlier established time frame. For example, Vietnamese artist Dinh Keo Le's The Farmers in a Helicopter, made in 2006. From 1962 to 75, the US and its allies fought against communist forces in Vietnam. It was considered the first televised war and the first to feature mass use of helicopters for combat. The Vietnamese, according to Dinh, sees helicopters as dangerous and as war machines. Although this is considered to be a contemporary artwork, it is not current or relevant issue or concept. Rather, it reflects upon a past event. There is a tension between what was now during the time of the war and what we understand now with new information and hindsight to see the consequences unravel from decisions made at that time. Kiwi artist Lisa Rihanna has done just that in her series, Unnerved and Dandy. Rihanna appropriates and reinterprets Maori mythology, but Rihanna's reinterpreting photographs have existed for less than 10 years. They are contemporary works, just as Gillick has stated, do not account for that which is taking place. Rihanna's Dandy photograph from 2007, however, does account for certain events occurring in the world right now. Racism is still rampant in our globalised world, and when addressing this question, we have to keep in mind a non-Western response.
Wait, whoa. Contemporary art does account for which is taking place on a global scale. Racism is a global issue, but maybe more importantly, it's an ongoing issue. Shigeyuki Kihara often does performance type art as well as self-portraits, exposing parts of her body. Kihara's work doesn't appear outlandish or unique, but the fact that she was born as a man adds to another dimension of her work as the Living Portrait series. Kihara is transgendered. The artist's work not only explores racial tensions through dressing in traditional Western attire, but also explores her sexuality by exploring parts of her body that she was not born with. Why categorise this artwork as disagreeing with Gillick's statement? Well, an ongoing issue in the world today is LGBT rights. News not only in Australia but in the UK, New Zealand and the States is often dominated by talks of gay marriage.
Or works such as Jacqueline Ream Solom's Planet of the Arabs, which addresses ongoing conflict in the Middle East. As long as the issue is relevant, so is the artwork. When the issue becomes outdated, so does the social relevance of the work. The issue, whatever that may be, pulls the artwork into the contemporary. Therefore, art is a response to that of which is taking place within society, relevant to the events surrounding the artist.